Hi, good
Hi,
evening. Welcome.
good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, how
Good
you
evening to
doing?
you. Yeah, good. I'm very good. Good to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. We are going to have so much fun talking about Enugu campus.
Interesting.
I
Oh,
cannot wait to hear the wonders the campus has to share with us. So let's
yeah.
wait for a few people to join us before we begin. So since we
All right.
are waiting for others to join in, I'll just run you through the outline. So
Okay.
basically, this is going to be about the Nigerian law school and especially for
Okay.
aspirants to the Nigerian law school. So we'll be discussing like your experience in Enugu campus to be precise. And then we'll talk about the hostel conditions, the fees, food,
All right.
social life, and most importantly, study tips. And then we'll give floor for anyone who has questions to ask, and then that'll be it. At most, we should be done in an hour time. Is that okay with you?
All right.
So, how you feeling? How you doing this evening? I said, how you doing this evening? How is Enugu?
Yeah. Well, we're
All right. So, how is the preparation for the bar
fine. Anyway,
exams
it's fine.
going?
Quiet as usual. And
Okay, how is the preparation for your law school coming? I said, how's the preparation for your law school exams? How is it coming up?
oh, okay. Oh, it's in top gear. Trust me. I mean, people are really agitated there. People are studying. Personally, for me, too, definitely, we're putting in our best and trying to see where we need to work on, for the exam, for the DD. Yeah.
All right. So please, if you are just joining in, kindly send the link to your friends so we would begin. And if you are here, please kindly signify in the comments so we get started. If you are ready and if we should start, just type go or something. So we begin. All right. So we welcome. We have one go ahead here. Welcome, Mr. Oluwaseyi. I got the name right, right?
No, no.
Ah,
It's
I knew it.
Oluwasheye. Olusheye, actually. Olusheye.
Oluwaseyi.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Olusheye is Sheye.
Olusheye. All right. Okay, my apologies. So, welcome, Mr. Olusheye, and we'll be beginning with the introduction. Welcome, guys, to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lynn Eugene Faustina Akeme, and I just completed my Bar 1 at the Abuja campus. Hopeful aspirant to Bar 2, and I've been on this series to give insights to law students and aspirants to the bar
Amazing.
because there has not been a lot of information concerning most of the campuses, and most are just like hearsays. And if you don't have people who you know personally, you might find it difficult. So I created this avenue to kind of share that knowledge with you. So, Mr. Olush say, right? Please introduce yourself.
Please, please just call me Olusheye. Or just say Sheye. Just say Sheye.
Sheye,
Right? Just
Sheye,
say
I'm
Sheye.
sorry.
All right. So my name is Olusheye
Okay.
Amani campus. If you love to add that. So I'm a graduate of Olabisi Onomani Institute. Yes. Yeah, so I'm a
Uh,
graduate of Olabi Sonoma University. Yeah, and
okay.
yeah, I think that's basically it.
Yes, that's a kind and welcome introduction. So let's talk about your experience in the campus as a whole. Was it your first choice, or you just happened to find yourself there?
The campus is located in Agba, yeah.
Okay, all right. Even if I don't know where that is in Enugu, but okay. All right. So can you
It
kindly
wasn't
tell
my
us
first
about
choice.
your
I never
experience?
imagined myself to be in Enugu campus.
All right.
So when it was time to fill the form, the necessary forms.
Yeah, you can go on. I'm listening to you. I asked if that was your first choice. Yes, of course you can go on. Please go on.
Hello, can you still hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please go on. I can hear you.
So
I can hear you. I can hear you. It's fine. Just go on.
yes, so I guess I've even lost my line of thought. Anyway, what's I talking about? Oh,
Yeah, I was asking if Enugu was your first choice or if you were just giving it
okay, yeah. So
per
when it
your.
was time to
Yes.
fill the necessary forms, I and my friend um, David Olajide, shout out to David Olajide. Okay, okay. Shout out to David Olajide. So we, of course, we are friends. We wanted to stay in the same campus. So we picked Lagos and Port Harcourt. So Port Harcourt was our first choice, and then Lagos was the second choice. Definitely be in Lagos campus. So that was the plan. And so yeah, that's it.
Okay, so how's Enugu campus in general?
And I was really, I was sad. I didn't really, I mean, for me,
And
for someone like me, I've never been to the East. So coming down to Enugu was, I felt like too far away from home. But anyways, we are here, and
okay, so tell us about the Enugu campus.
I think one peculiar thing about Enugu is the fact that it's peaceful, right? It is located outskirts of the town. Really hear cars move around and noises all around. Enugu campus is peaceful, right? It's peaceful. So and then you have forests, as we love to call it, around us, bushes actually around us. So in the night, maybe what you just hear is just few sounds from birds and some other creatures there. So everywhere is cool. Everywhere is cool actually. It is very very conducive
All
for
right.
learning. Very conducive for learning.
Okay. So how about the hostel accommodations? How is it
Whoa.
structured?
All right. So okay, amazing. So there are about three hostels. Now I'm going to there are about three hostels. Now there is the hostel known as the Adam and Eve hostel. So there is another hostel known as the Banana Island. So and the third one is the Blue Roof, right?
It's
So
getting
the
interesting.
Adam and Eve hostel, we have the boys or the men side to it, and then we have the female side to it, right? So, which means that there are some apartments there meant for the guys, and majority of the apartments are actually for the ladies. So, the Banana Island is like the newly renovated hostel, and well, for people staying there, I don't stay there anyway. For people staying there, they have been saying that it's, the hostel is not really, what you expect to see in a banana island. Then
Okay.
Blue Roof Hostel, I think that's the most popular hostel, right? And that's where my hostel is. Yeah, that's the top hostel. And it's basically just for men. Banana Island is just for men, just for guys. So you can't find a lady there. Yeah, but for Adam and
Okay.
Eve,
So it's the Adam and Eve hostel that is mixed.
yes, that is mixed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. So how many in a room and how many shares a bathroom and
O-
toilet?
Okay, this is getting interesting. So, generally, now, I think in a room, you're supposed to have about five students in a room. Five students in a room, including the ladies' hostel, guys' hostel, boys' hostel, five in a room.
Is it bunk beds?
Yes. And then you have bunks. Yes, you have bunks. I think in a room you should have
Okay.
about
People second.
six six bunks or five, depending on the room. Right. For my room now, we have just five. We have two bunks and then a bed. So for the ladies, they have I think three bunks. Three, yes, in some hostels, three bunks. In some hostels, just two, and then another bed. I mean, just a bed, a mate bed. Yeah. Then so you share the same toilets with about four other persons or five, depending on your hostel. And for guys, well, it's manageable. For ladies, I can't really talk about it because it's really not so nice. Just imagine you have five ladies in the same hostel. How do you expect them to use the same? I don't know. It's just unimaginable. But then I must say that you might get lucky, right? So there are some hostels where you just have three persons or four persons in your room, and this could be as a result of the fact that maybe um, a student decides or has decided to stay outside the campus. So you can actually stay outside the campus, right? It's not compulsory. You have to stay inside the hostel to get. So
Mm-hmm.
you can rent an apartment
So the
near the
hostels around
houses
or
and
outside the
hostels around the
campus?
campus.
Are they very proximate to the
Yes,
school?
yes. I think I know a few that are very close, quite close, and probably for indiges, they may be staying in a place far from the school. I don't know, but generally the hostels I know of outside the campus are quite close, very proximate to the campus. So you can decide to stay there and
Mm.
just avoid all these issues and or get lucky. One of your roommates is staying there. Yeah,
So that means generally it's five in the room,
yeah,
five to share a bathroom and toilet. All
exactly.
right. So moving on to the class schedule. The last time I met up with someone from Kano campus, I heard that they do have their classes in two sessions.
Okay.
The first morning session goes at 7 a.m. to 5. So how's the class structure campus?
Okay, so I think Enugu campus is a very peculiar campus, right? So unlike other campuses where you start lectures from Monday to Friday, Enugu campus we start our lectures from Tuesdays to Saturdays. So you actually have lectures on Saturdays, right? So and
All
it's
right.
just a session. We don't have breakout sessions, right? You just have a session. So we start the lectures by 9 unless there are special events. So if, for example, we're going to be having a special lecture or a venture is coming around to lecture us or something, we might actually start by 8. But generally, we start by 9 and we finish quite early. Unlike other campuses, we finish like 1:30 at times, 2 o'clock, except when we have snap tests where we can extend the closing hour to perhaps 3 or 4. But generally, by 2:30 max, people already in your you are back in your hostel. You are back in your hostel. So on Saturdays to the same thing,
Okay.
9 till like 2. Or I think on Fridays we finish quite early, maybe like 1:30 or 1 because of the Muslim guys who obviously have to pray, and so that's it. Yeah, that's it.
All right. So about the class structure in the group assessment.
Okay, okay, interesting. So, firstly, when we first arrived, we never had groups, right? Although we've had stories that, oh, you're going to be grouped and all that. So the groups rather are structured according to the last number of your registration number. So, take for example, if my registration number is 105, right? That means I'm going to be in group 5. If your registration number is 104, you're going to be in group 4, 102, you understand? So, or 306 or something. So, we're actually about 700 students, over 700 students actually. So, if the last digit in your registration number is 9, so you're going to be in group 9. Do you get? So, and then for each group, you have group leaders and assistants. And we meet, the meetings for the groups are actually absolutely at the discretion of the group. So you can decide to meet online, if you like. You can decide to meet maybe 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6, 7,
All right.
8, 11, So it's usually unanimously decided by all the members of the groups, right? So for my group now, we meet sometimes around 6 or 7. You know, that's when we meet. Except for maybe Fridays, when we have to, you know, consider other people who are going for maybe services and all that. But generally about 6 or 7. And then the next day, okay. So what we do at the group meetings is to consider the task we have for the next class, right? So the tasks are sent ahead of time. So we would sit down and then deliberate on the answers, make presentations, compile presentations or compile the answers, and some groups would pick persons to present, because the lecturers will make it, some lecturers, okay, let me put it that way, some lecturers will make it mandatory for each group to have representatives, while some will just decide to pick anybody randomly from the entire class, right? Not even with the groups. You can just decide that, oh, I want to pass the mic around and then pick anyone. Do you get? So, but most of the groups will pick presenters for each course, right? So those presenters will definitely present the next day in class and represent the entire group.
All right. So, what's the purpose of the group?
Yeah, okay. I think I mentioned that earlier on, but the main focus of the group is one to share ideas, right? So I think when you study alone, there are certain things that you might not really have clarity about, even when you get to study personally with your textbooks and the handbook, right? So when you come to group meetings, you would juxtapose ideas with other guys. So you would probably have to unlearn or relearn, or just get to have a better view of things, right? And there are times that even when you answer some questions, when you get to group meetings, you realize that you're probably wrong, or the right? Maybe you just thought that, oh, kiniko is something, and you're probably meant to go further
Mm-hmm.
and explain further. So when you get to group meetings, you see people talking about it and people talking about things you've not even heard, you know. But then there's a bad side to the groups. Where this is me speaking personally, right? So because a lot of people or a lot of persons will be in the groups and we want to talk or share ideas, if it's not managed properly, you would get to see people arguing and really wasting time, really arguing, and they may not even achieve anything throughout the day. Do you get? So you see people talking about something strange, and another person would counter that and say, "No, that's not the kind of law."
This is something
Do
strange.
you get? And then you see some people spitting total nonsense, and you're just like, "Am I wasting my time here?" So I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
sha,
I
but
get
that's
it.
that's the danger. That's the danger. That's the only problem I can see to it. So some people decide not to go to for the group meetings, although it is mandatory, right? But certain persons will just decide
Mm-hmm.
to boycott it and not to go, and probably go a few times in a week, maybe 2 or 3 days, and miss the others. So yeah, I think that's just the main focus of the group. It's just to juxtapose ideas and prepare for the next task for the other day, for the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, some campuses are very strict with their timing for class, right?
Sorry, can you come again? I
And
didn't get
I've
that.
heard from people I've spoken. Some campuses are very strict with their timing for class.
Okay.
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 For one I know for Port Harcourt, he spoke about the fact that by 8:45 at most, they all should be settled. Is it also the same strictness in the Enugu campus?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Or
Like I
by
said
9
earlier,
people are still
Enugu campus
gallivanting
is
with
quite a
that?
special and a peculiar um, campus. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So um,
Uh,
they actually no strict rules, right? The timing is not.
mm-hmm.
So what matters is that you get to class before 9, right? By 9, the lecturers are in class and they start immediately. So you can get to class 7:30 if you don't mind, 5:55. But then you just have to ensure you meet up the timing for their attendance because you have to sign in before you enter the classrooms. The lecture,
And what time?
the guys, the what are they called now? I can't remember what they are called now. Anyway,
Fashion.
sorry.
I said fashion police.
Oh yes, if you like to call them fashion police, there's this other name they call them anyway. So by the way, I've been a victim of this fashion thing, and anyway, maybe that will be one of the questions you'll probably ask me. But we just have to ensure that you get there before they leave, right? So I think when it's about 9 or a few minutes after 9, they will actually leave, take the attendance, and yeah, that's going to be it. And then I think I didn't mention this when I was talking about the lecture hours. After lectures,
Mhm, mhm.
you actually sign out again. So everyone will pile out and then you get to sign in front of your registration number, pardon me. So you sign and that's the way we end the classes. Yeah. So you don't actually have to get to the
All
class
right. So,
anytime. Just make sure by now you are seated, right? And the lecture will start.
okay. Conduct. Let's go to other con. How is the dress code for the Enugu campus? What is the make to wear? What are some of the challenges that people have gotten to face due to that?
Oh, so I think generally the legal profession is really, really big on dressing and the code of conduct, especially when it comes to dressing. And trust me, any good campus is not an exception. It is not really. So the general dress code is for ladies. You can either put on a white shirt on your skirt, or you put on a gown, right? For the guys, a white shirt, either long or short, and then your black trousers. So in some campuses, I think Port Harcourt and maybe Lagos, I'm not certain now, they are allowed to put on blue, trousers or blue gowns, and all that. But in Enugu campus, that is not the case, right? You cannot put in put on blue dresses, right? So it has to be black or black and white. And then for the weekends, the Fridays, in some campuses, they allow them to wear natives, so you can put on your trads, your traditional wear and all that. But in Enugu campus, you can't do that. Yeah. So we've tried to speak with the authorities, the SRC, and all that, but really, it has been an effort in futility. We've been unable to achieve that. So, and I think it's owing to the fact that the previous set abused the privilege to do that, right? So they've been clamping down on it. And I could remember one incident. There was this lady that we were supposed to get our handbooks at some particular time. So you would go into you have another hall aside from the lecture. So when you get there, um, you have to sign in, and then the people who are meant to give you your handbooks will actually check your dressing and all that. So there was this lady that I think she was putting on a splitted skirt, and one of the, what did you call them again? You had one name for them now.
Police.
Yeah, fashion police. So one of them just told the girl that she won't be getting the handbooks and she won't be getting other stuff, and it's because she's putting on a slitted skirt. So it was really a big issue, honestly, because the girl was asked at the time before I left the hall that day she wasn't allowed. So maybe she vexed or she answered the query. I don't know what she did, or if she eventually got the handbooks and other materials that day. But it has really okay. And personally, I think I have I have an experience too. So there was this day I was putting on a jacket. So the jacket is black, right? But I was stopped and I was asked to remove
Mm-hmm.
it, and I was wondering, like, why? This is a black jacket, right? But the police, the fashion, the back of my of the jacket now is not black, right? It's for the one I was putting on. It was in gold color, right? So the guy said, no, that it has to be black. So that's for guys too. So for guys, you really have to know that when you put on the jacket, in case you have to do that, or you put on your suit, it has to be a black suit. So and the jacket, both the front and the back, has to be in black, has to be black, right? So you can't decide to put on maybe a jacket with another color at the back. Do you get? So it has to be black. So that was my experience, and the guy wanted to shake me and say, oh, maybe I should bring my slip and all that. But I was just calm about the whole thing anyway, and he actually got, and he obtained my jacket, and later on he gave it back to me, and that was it. So yeah,
Mm.
so that's the code of conduct with regards to person.
Okay, so what other code of conduct would you like aspirants to take note of apart from the dress code?
Yeah. Okay. So another thing is the mannerism or how you respond or behave in class or in the lecture, right? So we've had this incident of students. Okay, let me start this way. So generally, when you're about to ask questions, when the lecturers are about to ask questions, they will ask us to pick the mics and then you pass it all around, and all that. So there was a time I think a student was asked to answer a question and the student refused, or I can't really picture what happened then, but the student was queried and that can mean. So generally, I think when you get about three queries, you're probably out of the law school. You won't be allowed to write exams. So
Oh.
I mean, for an aspirant, you would want to be careful about how you behave in class. So even when you don't know the answer and they ask you to pick the mic or answer a question, just get there and say something. Just say something, actually. And I think our lecturers have been so nice. Even when you don't get the answer, right? What they would do is ask the everybody else and ask them, oh, do you agree with him? And people would say yes or nay. They don't agree, and that's it. You just get to sit down back or go back to your seat. Really. So it's not as if they would talk down on you or try to break you down. Except in certain circumstances, maybe your demeanor is really, really bad and not really nice. So they may have to just, they are humans too, right? And you can get to their ego and they may just want to let you know that, oh, they are in charge, especially for the older ones. So we have older guys in our class, and at times they want to, feel like they should be treated special. Just don't allow that. They see everybody equally, right? And they treat you the same way they would treat someone who is quite younger than you. So
Yeah.
cordially and not really extend things beyond measure. And for the younger ones, just stay cool, answer questions, prepare for the classes. Ask even when you don't know the answer, just say something, right? They will let you be. Yeah, so I think that's it. That's one thing that an aspirant will want to take note of. Let me think about something else with regards to code of conduct. Maybe what else? I think that's it. I think basically that's the major thing. That's the major thing. Every other thing is,
All right.
you know, they are not.
I think dressing should be very, very,
Yeah,
very important because I know that for the Abuja
yeah,
campus,
very important.
you're not even allowed to wear sleeveless into the library or even shorts. So I know that. Does that apply to the Enugu campus?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I
did you say
said
something?
that. Does that apply to the Enugu campus? Because in the Abuja campus, you're not allowed to even wear
Did you
sleeveless.
say something? I didn't get that.
You're
If
not allowed
you
to wear
mentioned something.
sleeveless or shorts to the library. Is it same with the Enugu campus?
Hello. Okay.
Can you hear
Yes,
me?
yes. It's yeah. Trust me, these guys are lawyers, right? So it's the same thing here in Enugu. You cannot dress inappropriately to any office or you know any official place, so to say. So I think that includes the library. That includes the library. Yes, I can. I can. That includes the library. Even though it's for the library, I think it's you just have to you find the security guys there, so they are not really strict about it. But you never can tell. Maybe a lecturer would go around there, or the DDG herself. Our office is not quite far from the library, so
Mm.
you might just you know collide with her or meet her on the road, and you won't want to be in that situation where you are not properly dressed, right? So I think it's just advisable to dress properly anywhere you are heading to within the campus.
All right. Thank you very much. So, moving on, we all know that the Nigerian law school, this should be tried knowledge right now that you are not allowed to cook on the campus, right? So now let's talk about food and its accessibility and variety because food is very important. So people like for me, if I'm not it, I can't study well. So let's talk about the accessibility of food, the pricing, and the variety on campus and off campus.
You're not allowed to what? Sorry, I didn't get it. Can you come again?
I said, let's talk about food. You know, we are not allowed to
Okay,
cook on
okay, okay, okay,
campus
okay, okay. I understand.
generally. So let's talk about the accessibility of food on campus and off campus and the pricing
Oh,
and
wow.
variety
So
that you are likely to
the
get.
issue of food is quite a challenge. I
Okay.
think I heard you. Yes, I eventually heard.
All right, so go on.
Okay, okay, all right. So generally there is, I think the food vendors are regulated, right? So there's this popular place we call the Ojuku Market, right? So that is where you have majority of the vendors, the food sellers and all. That's where you have them, and um, you have other persons there if you want to make photocopies and all. But specifically because this question relates to the food, right? So there is a regulation, so to say. So every food, when we first arrived, there was a regulated price. The price was 500 naira per plate. So you either get a piece of meal with a meat or a beef rather, with beef. So it goes for 500 naira. So subsequently, when we came back after the extension and things, the prices of things had gone up, fuel hike and all that. So the prices increased to 700 naira per plate, and the food, um, to be very honest, the quality did not increase, right? It was still the same quality. So, and there are various varieties. For the Yoruba guys, if you're Yoruba like me, so there are few, I think about two or three um, food vendors that they sell Yoruba sort of meals. So you get to see your egusi, amala, ewedu, and all. Even though it's not usually available all the time, right? So if you're from the east, you have majority of the vendors are actually from the east. So you get the varieties from them. You can get they are. I think if I'm not going to be exaggerating, the vendors in total should be like maybe about 10 or 15. So you have a lot of vendors that you can buy from, right? So, but the regulated price now currently, because I said after we came back from externship, it was 700 naira. So we had to make complaints to the SRC guys, and an adjustment was made. So it's now 600 naira per plate, right? So you get a piece of meal rice or whatever you're getting, and then you can get portions, additional portions. Usually the additional portions goes for 200 naira. So unlike other campuses, like I think Lagos campus now, where the food is like 1,500, and Enugu is just about 600, 700 naira, right?
That means food is very cheap there.
Depending on what you want, right? So there are a
Hmm.
lot of vendors you can. There's the Yoruba kitchen, also known as Yet Spam, canteen, and you have, I think, Anambra kitchen. You have CC Eco is for the Yoruba guys, right? So you might want to pen that down. So if you are coming to Enugu campus and you want a place where you really, so Yoruba, most of the Yoruba guys go to CC Eco and they get fame, get fame. Sorry,
Okay.
what did you say?
No, I didn't say anything. If you have questions, you can leave them in the comment sections before we keep
Sorry, I
going.
didn't
So
get
you can
you.
leave
I think
your
you
comments, your
mentioned something. I
questions.
didn't get that.
Oh, no, I was just laughing. I didn't say anything. So if you have questions, you can leave them before we attend to them because we might be rounding up soon. So yes, let's talk about the social life in Enugu. Initially, when you started, you talked about the fact that the campus is a bit secluded, so it helps you focus on your studies. So, what are the fun activities, social activities that you get to do on campus or off campus just to release stress?
Yes, please. If you have questions, just drop them.
Just football playing. Can you hear me?
Okay, like I mentioned when I started, the campus is located at the outskirts of the town. So it's located where they call Agbani. So Agbani is located in the, I think they call it in Kano West local government now. So, you really do have a lot of fun places, right? Before you say you want to, yes, I can now. I can. I can.
All right. Go
Can I go
ahead.
on?
Yeah, yes, please. All right. Go
Let me
ahead.
know if I can go on. I can hear you.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Hey, Enugu campus. Is that how your network is? Yes, you can go on. Go ahead. Please type go ahead for him in case he's
Okay,
not
okay, okay.
hearing me. Go ahead.
So, there are fun places actually. So, um, you have you have um, um, ShopRite, you have cinemas, but they're actually far from the campus, right? So, and that's one of the challenges in Enugu. I know we probably get to that, right? One of the challenges in Enugu campus is the transportation issue and the fact that the campus is located at the outskirts of the town. So before you really want to, before you say you get to a place where you can catch fun or have a time to yourself just to relax and recreate, you would really have to travel, so to say, right? You spend like 2,000 or over 2,000 or 3,000 before you can, you get. So,
And
but
I'm sure there are
within
no
the
like
school environment,
Bolt or Uber there.
yeah, I think they have Bolt and Uber, but trust me, you would prefer to take the public transport than Uber or Bolt. You wouldn't want to try that. You wouldn't want. You wouldn't want to try that public transport.
Why?
So, the prices, the prices are just unimaginable. So, within the campus, there is a football pitch. You know, the guys get to play football. If you would love to, you can play football. There is a tennis lawn where you can play long tennis there. I think there is a lawn for badminton too. Yeah, I think a basketball court, if I'm correct now. It's quite big, right? And we have tarred lawns actually along the road, so you can decide to just jog early in the morning just to keep fit. And there's a gym. Yeah, I must mention that there's a gym actually. Although the
Is gym
facilities
a
are not
social
really in
activity?
top gear or in top form, exactly. So you can actually gym. You can go to the gym and lift some weights and have some six packs, or you want to get that pot belly removed or reduced, you can always hit the gym and get going. You know. So and
The education is good
depending
enough to
on,
make
I
you
don't know
lose weight.
how, when you guys probably come in and you would have. Yes, Yes, you have it, the SRC week, right? So during the SRC week, we just had us, I think about 2 weeks ago now, last 2 weeks ago, precisely 2 weeks ago. So we had a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fun. We had time to play games, to recreate, and to just catch fun generally. We had a picnic, we had a party, we had a dinner, we had football competitions, we had indoor and outdoor games, as part of the activities for the week. People played chess, draft, words, Scrabble, just the indoor games
I'm sure
generally,
that was
and
the most
of
fun
course
week
football, egg
you've ever
race.
had at that campus.
Yeah, honestly, honestly, I mean, the memory it still lingers in my heart. I can still remember, how I played football. I played for I played for a team. So the team were
Hope you won.
myself on the pitch. Please don't ask me that question. So we were beaten actually. Yeah, we lost. Anyway, we lost. But I think the major thing was that we just wanted to recreate and have fun, right? Which we were able to achieve. So we actually beat
True.
him, but it was fun. And I played long tennis, and I think I did well for that. I think I trashed some guys, and you know, I did well for that. With that, I did well with that. Just me. So,
Do you have evidence? Do you have evidence?
so I did
Unless
shall
you
I?
explain, Taya. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about study in general. How is it? How are you able to manage your time on campus? If you have any question, now's the best time to ask it because we might be closing soon. So talk about the studying tips. What would you suggest to aspirants? How to help them structure their timetable to excel academically.
Okay, all right. How do I start this? So I think because of the pay, which means that we close early, right? So we start by 9, we finish like around 1:30. So um, without you can quickly just go through what you've been taught for the day and just go through it. And then because we don't have lectures, you can take out time to read specifically on Mondays. So I would say generally you have ample time to read, honestly, compared to other campuses where like Lagos campuses they finish like 5 or 6. I don't know about other campuses, but any good campus you have ample time to read, honestly, right? The only thing is that maybe before you after lectures, before you say you really want to read for hours, you already have the task for the next day, right? So as you're studying for the day, like trying to review what you've been taught for the day, you would also have to prepare for the next class, right? Because you have tasks and they can call on anybody. So let me give this instance. So Mr. Abdurrahman, very funny man. So this is what he does. Now, so you and you might think you would answer the question. You might not actually be the one to answer the question. So he'll ask you that. He can ask you what's your registration number. If you say 103, you can say 103 times 2. So whatever that the answer is, so that's the number of the person who's going to answer the question. So you could say, if you say, oh, your registration number is maybe 92, it could be like, oh, 92 divided by 3. Do you get? It could just call anybody. So you would actually want to prepare for the class, especially his class, right? You want to prepare. So, but there's still time, right? So Sundays, you have all the entire Sunday to yourself, unless you have to go to church in the morning or probably just stay at home. And so you have the entire day to yourself. You can read Sundays and Mondays. So Saturdays are also occupied. You have lectures. So study tips generally, I would advise that one, be prayerful. I think that's the first study tip I'm going to give. Be prayerful, honestly, honestly. And so if you are a Muslim, just hold on to God. If you're a Christian, hold on to God, right? So, and this
How
is
about
because
tribal people, tribalist and
there are a
organized?
lot of persons in law school, right? And you
Uh-huh.
just want to be in the right company of persons, right? You don't want to find yourself with persons that would probably distract you. I mean, everybody is in the law school, presumably, to study and be qualified to practice as a lawyer. Some people may have other motives, but generally, primarily, that is why in the law school. Oh, so I think I will get to talk about that. But generally, so you would want to be prayerful and find yourself in the right company of persons, right? So you can just be on the lookout. Once you resume, you see persons answering questions in class, but it might not actually mean that that's that sound, right? So you just have to be prayerful in selecting the persons you would, the groups or the persons you would be in contact, including your roommates, right? Because all these things have impact on your studying, right? So imagine you have a roommate who is not really as studious or studious as you are, and is always maybe playing loud music, or is maybe even if he's not playing, but he doesn't really read, right? And that could be a time where you are not really gingered to read yourself. But if you
True. True.
Then, aside from the groups, that you would find yourself in, I mean, as maybe arranged by the law school, you might want to the group meetings too, attend group meetings too. So there you would, like I mentioned earlier, on, get to know one or two things about um, other things you're not paying attention to, right? So you'll get to know your weaknesses and you know just get clarity on certain issues, right? So, but if you
Mm-hmm.
find out that your group meetings are always, not directed, disorganized, you might just want to reduce
Mm-hmm.
the number of times you attend, right? Or you know when to
All right.
withdraw, when to leave the group meetings. You can't really leave at any time. You can't stay where people are just arguing and they are not achieving anything. You might just want to stay off and then go back to your hostel or go find a place to read, the library or anywhere else. So, and you can also use the library. The library is open from Tuesday to Saturday, Fridays, yeah. So the weekends, I don't think the library is open on Saturdays. So you can always go to the library rather, to read. And the library is not open in the night. I think they close around I think about 6 in the afternoon. Storm the library and stay there, bury yourself in your books till like 6. Or you can head back to your hostel and study too, right? And study. And if you're a
Mm-hmm.
night, there are actually spots or special places where you can actually read within the campus. Because the campus is serene, right? We have nature all around you. We have bushes and really cool places around. So there are places under the trees. There's this place behind Adam and Eve Hostel actually. So when it is not weeded, right? Weeded, please take note of that. Weeded, right? It can get weeded, and you can have snakes and other dangerous animals there. Weeded, you
Creatures
can
where?
sit. They actually molded seats there. You
Sorry,
can sit
sorry.
there
Come
and then
again.
study
Creatures where?
and study and study. The night you find people studying there, or the tutorial classes. We have tutorial classes. That is where we use for the group meetings, so you can always go there to study. So basically, trust God to find yourself in the right company of partners. So okay,
I,
let
I
me
want to understand. Creatures where? Is it that the school has snakes or what?
okay let me answer this way. So I mentioned that
Please don't
there's this hostel
sugarcoat it though.
called
Let us
Banana
know what you are
Island, right?
coming from.
So initially it was called the Snake Island, and that is because there are a lot of snakes there, right? But I don't come
I
again.
said don't sugarcoat it. I want to understand what you mean by Snake Island. So I
I
should be
didn't get that.
battling.
Please, I'm so sorry. Can you come again?
See, I said that I don't need you to sugarcoat anything. I want to understand what I'll have to face if I'm never
What
going
did
to be
you say?
posted there.
Can you come again? Come
But
again, please.
I want to understand what you were talking about with the creatures, the
Okay,
animals
okay,
there.
oh, okay.
How often do you see them?
Okay, so
How
this
dangerous are they? I don't need you to sugarcoat it. Tell us as it is. Okay? All right, go ahead.
Okay, so when the people personally, the only dangerous animal I've encountered was a scorpion, right? So people have raised needed, and it's in a remote area. We have forest, right? You get to see forest, I mean, in front of you like this, although they're a bit far from where the hostels are. So animals can stray actually. So I think persons have made complaints about saying maybe monkeys, um, uh, what other animals, snakes in particular, and some animals you don't even have a name for. So there was, I think yesterday, my roommate or this morning was telling me that he saw a creature and it looked like a spider, but then it wasn't a spider, and he saw that in the room actually, and the thing just limped and flew outside again. But he said he was scared. Was wondering that what sort of animal is this? So the actual animals you don't even have a name for, right? And then you get to see when it's raining, you get to see, of course, maybe toads or frogs around. So, but don't be scared. Actually, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Of course, God's protection
Don't
is
be
sure over
scared. I'm
everyone.
hearing
Yeah.
that their creatures lame.
So I don't think you need to panic. Actually, but when we first arrived, there were complaints about a lot of snakes. But I think it has reduced, right? It has reduced. Yeah, like for weeks now, we've not had anything about seeing snakes or anything. So generally, I think it has reduced. So I think that's just it. Just avoid wooded places, right? Or when you're going out in the night, make sure you're with a torchlight. So and maybe wear long dresses, or you want to buy Crocs, or just have shoes that can actually help you to navigate through the weeds and you don't get um anyway, don't
Is
let me
it
scare you people. But
is it
I think
adventure
it's just
hunt at the camp I'm
don't be
going
fearful
for?
actually. Don't be
There'll
fearful.
be very,
Just be
very boots
careful, right?
around.
Don't be fearful, but be careful. Yeah. So I think that's it. That's it.
Uh,
Just be careful generally.
mm, okay. So you see, yeah, a lot of campuses have things that are their Port Harcourt campus. Okay, the lights and most times they
Yeah, I think
usually
I'm
have
done. Yeah,
lights
that's it.
over the night. For Abuja campus, there's hardly light. Some campuses don't even have water. Like Kano, they do not even let them have a water heater. They have to boil their water. So right now, I need you to tell me about the ugly part of Enugu for us, what you can expect, the ugly part of Enugu campus. And just tell us as
Come
it
again,
is.
please. I
So
didn't
you
hear
can
that.
prepare
Can
mentally
just
when
come
you're
again.
posted there, how you will cry, how
But I
you
had
will
something
weep.
about adventure. Just come again.
Okay. So you did not hear everything I just said.
What did you say?
Did you hear anything? Did you hear anything I've said so far? Okay. I think what we should take by now is that number one, Enugu campus is very bad with network issues. This is number one ugly thing about Enugu campus. So now what I'm asking is that talk to me about Enugu campus, the bad part of it. Because I
Okay,
get
so if
people
I got you
who have spoken to, right? And they talked about the fact that
the lights, I didn't really get
yes, the
you, but I
light,
had
water,
not really. I think I had lights, something related to light. Is that correct?
yes. So what I'm asking is that some campuses have water issues, some have light issues, some have both, and some have more issues. So now let's get to the ugly part about it. campus. So tell us about
I can't hear
the
you.
part that we don't know
But
about.
if you're talking about the
Can
lights,
you hear
right?
me?
So the light is fairly good. I can even say good, compared to other campuses, honestly. So okay. I think I understand now. Yes, I did. I heard. So for the light issue, I think light generally is good now, and that is owing to two reasons. One, firstly, so when we don't have lectures, or even when we have lectures, the light comes on by 9 a.m. in the morning, and then they switch it off by 2 p.m. I think 2 p.m. That's definitely after the lectures, or as soon as you're done with the lectures, right? So they switch it, or three at times. So they switch it off around then, and they bring it again 7 p.m. in the evening and take it by 11 p.m. in the night, right? So you get to use the light in the morning from 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. or 3 then in the evening from 7 p.m. till 11 p.m., right? So that's for the days where we have lectures, right? But for weekends, maybe Sunday or a Monday, they bring the light around, I think around 10 o'clock and then take it around 1 o'clock, right? So that's what they do. But then, so it's the gen, right? It's a generator. We're not using, okay, at first we were not using light, right? Because there were complaints that the light was bad generally and all that, and the school was owing and all those stories anyway. So, but then we were fortunate that we had a governor in our class, or we have, sorry, not at now, we have. So he's still a member of the class. So that's the Ebonyi State Governor. And shout out to that man, shout out to Ebonyi State Governor. It was really instrumental in how we use light now. So the light is now better. It has improved in the sense that he actually paid for the bills, and then now we can use the light as well as use the generator. So at times when the generator is not on, you can get to use the light, the NEPA light. And at times when maybe when they take the NEPA light, the generator will come on. Do you get? So I think it's generally better, or I mean better than most campuses. Most campuses. I think the light is quite good here. And the fact that you know when they will bring the
How
light,
about
you
the
know when the
water?
gen is coming on and when they will take it, it helps you to, manage your time. You are expectant and it doesn't feel, trust me, see, the gen is, I think they use a timer. I don't know. I'm just trying to make a joke out of this. But once it is exactly 7 p.m., the gen is on. Exactly 11 p.m. You cannot have a
I can
second after
relate.
11 p.m. Like, oh, for the water, yes, the water is fantastic. Water is fantastic. So I think only few times we've only had few times when people complained about the water, but generally the water is nice. So they get to pump the water as soon as the journey is, you have a washing hand basin in your toilet or your bathroom. So the bathroom and toilet is combined actually. So you have a washing hand basin there. You probably have a tap running, and then you have the shower, right? And the other taps outside or within the hostel where you can also fetch with your buckets if you don't mind. So it's nice. The water is cool. The water is cool. Yeah, I think so. The water is at least before you can get it as when you need it. So I think that suffices. So I can't really speak about the hygiene. Maybe it's not really treated, but so far we've just had few complaints about people purging or there. I don't think there's been any issue about food poisoning generally. But I think the water is just relatively fair, relatively good. Let me put it that way.
Okay. Any question? Please leave it. You can comment your questions. Let's talk about the registration time to Port Harcourt or Lagos, but unfortunately you got Enugu. So can you tell us about your trip from wherever, the bus station, the airport to the campus itself, and then how registration was like for
Okay,
you?
so I'm from Abeokuta. That's in Ogun State, right? I'm from Ogun State. So Coming down to Enugu, it was a bit scary considering the security situation of the country, and I was contemplating
Mhm.
getting a flight. So I was going to travel down to Lagos, then get a flight down to Enugu, or going by road. So I didn't go directly from Ogun State to, because my friends from Ibadan and some other students who were heading to Enugu were going to move from Ibadan. So, and it was going to be a bus that was and directly take us inside the campus. So it was a place bar or anything. I just didn't want any. So I just felt like, oh, so let me go with my other colleagues. So we're in the same bus together. And the journey is about, I think, 12 hours from the southwest, wherever you are from the southwest. From Lagos, I think it's the same thing. From Lagos, from Ibadan, could be a bit longer, maybe 1 hour plus because of the distance and the hold up on the Lagos Ibadan Expressway. But generally, about 12 hours or so, you are within Agbani, you are within Enugu State. Yeah. So the journey was being the first time. It was scary, and of course, some of us who were guys we would not say that, but obviously everybody was just on the edge. We were just trying to be careful and be prayerful that nothing happens. And so we thank God nothing happened. But it's interesting, some people who had never been to the east, you go through, I think from Lagos or Ibadan, you get to Ijebu Ode, then you get to Ore. Ore is in Ondo State. From okay, this is Benin. Then so from Benin, I think you get to yeah, depending on the route rather they take. So you get to Anambra, then from Anambra, I think you get to Enugu. Yes. So it's just that's the journey. Now you get to see a lot on the road. Probably hold up, and hold up if that happens. You get to buy stops on the road. You get to, and then there are stops on the road. We have stops. So we stopped at Ore at some point. We stopped in, I think, Anambra now, and then we stopped about twice or thrice before we go to Enugu. But subsequently, it became easy and we became familiar with the road already. We actually know where we stop, not to get stops.
Okay, so when you got to
What did
Enugu,
you
you
say?
had to share a
Can you come
taxi
again?
with your friend, right? I said when you got to Enugu, you had to share a taxi with your friend to go to the law school, right?
No, no, no. Actually, no, 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 no. No, the bus actually took us from Ibadan and dropped us inside the campus. The bus dropped us inside the campus, right? So and for the registration, oh, I didn't answer that part. I'm so sorry. So for the registration, I think I arrived a day before the day the registration was going to start. So I would advise that you get there a day before, right? So just get there. When you get there, there will be temporary rooms or hostels for you to stay, right? It could eventually be your apportioned hostel or room, but generally everyone will get a temporary hostel just to stay for the first, I think about first 3 weeks or so, just to get settled down, right? So the next day, we headed to the registration center, and it was quite tasking and really, really stressful, right? Because we were so much, and they were pushing here and there. You have to print this form and you have to run back to the Ojuku market now where you can make photocopies, run back to the hall, to register, and then just I'll just advise that you get there early, right? If you're registering, once you get to the school the day before, wake up so early and get down to the registration or to start your registration. So I think I started quite early, and I think the registration determines your registration number, right? So how early you register determines your registration number. Because I registered so early, my registration number is I was part of the first 110 students, 105 students. Sef. I was part of the first 105. So if you get there early, you get to register, and just stay cool. You meet people there. I think some of my friends now, I met them during the registration, right? So you might want to be nice to people there. You might want to help people with certain information. So people are just coming and they don't know how to go about this and that. So if you have an information, you might just want to help people, and these people can actually become your friends and help you later on, right? So some of my friends now, I actually met them during the registration. And if you have political aspirations, I think that's a good place to really network with people, right? So get to help people, be visible, try to help people, relate to people. So when you are contesting for the SRC chairman or any of the executive positions, you would, you have something to bank on, right? Do you get so? I think that's
Yeah.
basically it. So on the
All
registration,
right. So let
you
me.
also do your medicals and just I think it's fine anyway. You're gonna enjoy it.
All right. So let me run down the conclusion for everyone, for those who maybe came late or something. And also, if you have any question, now is the best time to leave your questions. So we talked about the Enugu campus, and our guest here did not want to be posted there. However, life had other plans for him, and he found himself in
So
Enugu. And something peculiar about the campus is that it's quite distinct from the town. You know, it's surrounded by forest and dead vegetations, and it allows you to study and focus on more important things. So far, when it comes to social life, the things or the bubbly part is in the city, which requires you to travel far. When it comes to the hostel, we have five in a room for the guys and the girls, and as it stands, I mean, the Banana Island was formerly called the Snake Island. So take notes just in case. For the accommodation situation, as Chimerize is asking, it's actually five in a room, and you share a bathroom and toilet. And then when it comes to the studying, we noted that the code of conduct when it comes to dressing is very strict. Black and white for the ladies, black and white for the men, and only black dresses. Blue dresses and blue suits are not allowed. And classes begin from Tuesday to Saturdays. So there's no class on Monday and there's no class on Sundays. I think that's owing to the sit at home at the East. That's why it's quite peculiar. And when it comes to the class cultures, you'll be divided
yeah,
into groups, which is going to help you study better and interact. So you have like a community to understand better what is being said in class. And so it's
yeah,
good
yeah,
for
yeah.
you to read
Accurately,
before
yes,
the
yes.
class so you can know what to do at the task or when you are called upon to speak. And moving on to the study tips, he noted that in the Enugu campus, you have ample time to study because there's no much distractions for you. So if you get posted there as an aspirant, I bid you, please, enough. A word is enough for the wise. Study and focus on what's important. And as he earlier stated, be sure to get into good community because that is the way for you to build up good relationships for the future and also help you academically because no one is an island. And if there's anything we know about law, is the fact that studying alone can be very detrimental to you, no matter how intelligent or smart that you think you are. Someone might know something you do not know about. And you know how laws can be very changing. You might even be reading a repealed law and you might not even know about it.
Absolutely,
So community
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
community is very, very important. And you might want to prepare some
Very
great
important.
skills like knowing how
Very,
to
very
kill
important.
snakes. Because I mean, you might find some weird or strange creatures in your room or your place of study. So prepare with your knives if you have a knife, or prepare spiritually on how you can kill them. However, whatever you believe in. And be sure to come with your rechargeable because the light has a on and off time in the campus. Did I miss anything? I've said it all right. All right. So if you have any questions, now is the best time
Yeah,
to
very
ask it.
important.
Yes. So you can ask your question now. If not, forever remain silent
I don't think
because
so. So you might just want. Let me add this. So
okay.
don't mind that, please. Don't you don't have to bring knives and all. Just bring yes, insecticides and I think that would do it. Yes.
All right, sure. Okay. So we are going to have this fear. People mostly text me online and reach out to me that, oh, is law so difficult? Um, how is it like studying law? Is it so hard? And I always say that, oh, nothing is hard. If you put your mind to it, you can do it. And when it comes to law, if it's so difficult, people will not be picking up forms to go to the law school. And that's just the honest truth. So I think for aspirants, I would personally say that nothing is too hard, nothing is too difficult. I mean, especially for your God. If it's hard for you, it's not hard for the God or the God you believe in. So be sure to pray hard and study hard. So now I want like the person who is actually our guest here, who is in the law school. What is something
Absolutely.
you wish someone told you before going to Enugu, or what's something you'd like to take or give to aspirants to run with? What's that advice you give to them? So let's make it brief so we can close. Did you hear me?
Okay, so I think let me see. So what I wish I knew before coming to Enugu. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. So it's relating to as funny as this may sound, it's related to food. So most of the vendors sell the same thing, right? So you can, you'd be restricted to certain. I would have brought more, what's it called, more foodstuffs and cereals and the likes just to supplement it. You get, and I wish I knew that the campus is not really so far from the school, right? Trust me, if you want to get something, if you want to get to the market to get something, especially for ladies, I just visit them. You have to spend a lot, right? You really have to spend a lot. So I wish I knew, so I would have, made plans about money and how would I would navigate myself to the town to get stuff, or to recreate, to, get out and chill with, your friends and all that. I wish I knew that. So, for the tips that the general tip or something I would just love to tell aspirants is that law school is doable, right? You can do it. You set your mind to anything, you can do it. If you set your mind to anything, like she retreated, like she said rather, I'm retreating now, you can actually do it, right? So coming to law school, I was a bit scared, and actually it's not to say that law school is an easy place, right? It's tasking, but you can do it and you can glide through, you can become successful. I know I'm not done with law school, but I know what I'm saying, honestly. Compared to the way it was mystified, you know, it's not really like that, right? But it's not to say that it's all bed of roses. It's not. It's not. Really, it's not. It's not. So imagine you have to study 20 topics per course. You have 5 courses, you have to study 20 topics, and you have to remember each principle, each law, judicial authority, and it's a lot, actually. It's a lot. Yeah. So for vast parents, just start practicing now. Start reading now. Whatever you can read about law school, especially with relation to the courses, there are soft copies of the topics to be treated in law school. Just get your hands on them and start practicing, start learning whatever you can. Even when it doesn't make sense, trust me, it is building a foundation in you, right? And when you get to law school and when they explain better, you would be different from someone who's just hearing it for the first time, right? So generally, just prepare and don't be careful about law school. I think that's just it.
All right. Thank you very much for your time and your kind words, and most especially for sharing your story with us. I appreciate I appreciate you. And also for those who are listeners and you're aspirants and you want
I
to
think I
get
can relate to that. I appreciate it. Anyway,
okay, for those who are
and
aspirants to the bar and you like to get materials to read for bar two, just leave your email in the comment section and I will send you some materials for you to use. So now you have no excuse not to study. before your resumption date. And thank you all that joined in, and thank you all who asked questions and interacted with the session. Um, you're welcome. And thank you all. We'll see you next
Thank you
week
too for
for
having me. Thank you for having me. I'm really grateful. So you guys should subscribe to our page. Please like our page, like the videos, subscribe to our page, and she's doing an amazing job. I must really commend you. I mean, so many people don't even bother to know about what they are to meet in the law school, and this is you doing this not just for yourself, but for others to also learn. And I must really commend that. Well done, well done. So you guys subscribe to our page and get the best
Oh, I'm flattered.
out of me. All right. Thank
Thank
you
you
so much.
very much.
Have a
And
wonderful
for
night.
those who are still lost, check my channel. There's a playlist to help you, especially if maybe you are aspiring to the Abuja campus. There's a room tour, there's hostel, accommodation, the entire place. You get to see it, even the lecture halls, and how to register and apply, blah, blah, blah. So thank you all for joining in. Let's meet same time next week, different campus. All right?
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
So
Thanks for
that's
having
it.
me.
Bye. Thank
Peace
you.
out.
Peace out.